Welcome back to another video here on Jaw 7 TV, and we're back. Andrew, how are you?
Oh, it's doing great. You know, it's been a while, but hey, I'm glad to be back now.
It's been quite a while. We've taken a little time off from doing videos here on Jaw 7's YouTube page, but we are back and ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, the meta really has shifted since last time we've talked. Of course, like, Zoroark doing fairly well.
Oh my gosh, Zoroark is everywhere, which, you know, after playing Zoroark, rightfully so, I see why it's such a big deal.
Yeah, just having the ability to, one, have a consistent attacker, doing like 120 with a DCE, that's always good. Also, that ability is being able to trade, draw 2, and get like 4 of those out. You're drawing 8 cards a turn. That's crazy.
It can be very good. So this matchup is a interesting deck on my side of things. It's a Solgaleo Zoroark deck, and you're playing Golisopod, is that right?
Yeah, so this is the list. We're using the list that took first place at St. Louis. The difference being with this one from other Golisopod Zoroark decks, it plays a 2/2 promo Lorantis line. The promo Lorantis provides 20 extra damage to your grass and fire Pokemon.
Which something we didn't see initially before St. Louis, at least I hadn't at this point. So you open up with a Bridget, get a Wimpod down there and 2 Zoruas, and you pass turn. And I think my strategy here is I want a Bridget as well, and it seems like a lot of decks want to do that. But as you see, I don't get the Bridget down.
Yeah, I think just being able to get as many Zoruas out early game, just so you can evolve into those Zoroarks and start getting those traits. Of course, now you get the Cosmog out. It just sets you up very well for success later on. Yeah,
so the thing with this deck is I want to get a Solgaleo out as soon as I can to Soul Burst and hopefully onto another Cosmog. And as you can see here, I do Lele for the Bridget, which that'll be my next turn. So we are a turn behind, but that's all right.
Yeah, I think once you get Solgaleo out, you're pretty much in a good board state because in this meta, very few things are going to one-shot you.
Yeah, and that's one thing I love about Solgaleo right now is that 250 HP is just absolutely ridiculous, and I love it so much. But anyway, we pass turn here, and let's see, do you play another Bridget? Is that what you're doing here?
Yeah, I don't remember my hand here, but I think the best thing I have right now, it's like, I'll just get, I think I'm going for either Fomantis. Yeah. So my thought here is, the thing that's interesting about this matchup is that your deck plays on probably Golisopod's greatest weakness, and that's its inability to one-shot things.
Yes, yes.
Because I cap out around 150, 180 if we're doing crossing cut with choice band. So the Lorantis like helps the math. However, like once you get 2 Solgaleos out with full setup, you're at least going to take 4 prizes before I can knock out 1.
For sure, and I also play a few max potions in the list as well. So if you can't one-shot me, which isn't going to happen, then there you go. I just max potion the damage off there. So you get the Zoroark down, and this is what we want to see. You want to see Zoroarks down on the field so you can keep trading and just getting cards.
Yeah, I'm really looking for, I need Floatstone DCE to knock out the Zorua. That way you're down 1 Zoroark. However, as soon as you get once you get the Solgaleo out, then I have to start focusing in on that.
Right. All right, so you do get the DCE down, and the Zoroark Ritus beating and knock out that Zorua, so that will definitely set me back as well. But we are going to bridge it here. So, again, this is something with this specific deck I want to do very early on in the game. So this is just putting me back. But as you said a few minutes ago, getting those Zogaleos out, once they're out, then it's really tough to defeat them specifically.
Well, point 2, so your Solgaleo does really good mid-game because chances are I'm going to have a Golisopod Zoroark out. So having to knock out that Zorua is going to force me into taking a 7-prize game, while you can just come in later and take a clean 6 prizes. So you almost can have even pacing later on just by getting those darn Solgaleos set up because they're so beefy.
Yeah, and even if I go down in prizes, that's, you know, okay. So you do play an in here, and this card is interesting, Andrew, because we expect this card to maybe disappear with rotation or not. I don't know.
Yeah, well, what's interesting is, so being the current rotation would probably be Sun and Moon on. There's the only card I can think of that's going to be like hand disruption is going to be Judge.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was a brief moment, not when I was playing, but earlier a few years ago where we didn't have N. So you'd play like red card.
Yeah.
So
good old red card.
I'm interested to see a format without N.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I'm curious to see if they print another card with the same text on it or not. So, all right, so you trade. It looks like you do get that Loranes promo on the bench, so that buffs your damage up to 20 more for at least your Golisopods anyhow. And it looks like you Ritus Beating here on the Lele to put that 120 damage out. So here's what I want to do. I want to get a Solgaleo out this turn so I can, of course, Soul Burst GX, and I want to get that Max Potion down on that Tapu Lele as well. And there it is.
Oh, there's the Max Potion.
It can be very annoying. That's for sure.
Yeah, it seems that I have I don't have a Golisopod out yet though, so I'm a little nervous.
Sure, yeah.
Because I need to have grass. I would like to have had grass attachment onto Wimpod this turn, so I could hopefully set up for a crossing cut next turn. But it's gonna put me a few turns back.
Definitely. So it looks like you and I are both, neither of us are really in the driver's seat per se. We're both trying to still get a little bit of a setup here with this slower meta. Of course, with the likes of Buzzwole, we'll just act like that's not a card right now. Other than that, it's a slow meta, right?
Yeah, in this matchup at least, our pacing is going to be a little bit like, okay, once you get Solgaleo out, I'm going to have to bop that thing, you're going to do your GX attack, and then hopefully you evolve to another Solgaleo, and then I'm like, okay, so maybe I can get a knockout here, but you're going to respond. So we should see some even trading coming soon, but for now, it's just going to depend on who can get their main attacker out.
And speaking of trading, I do trade away a card there, and I was hoping, I had the rare candy in hand, I was hoping to get that Solgaleo out, but as you can see, it didn't happen. You trade off a Zorua, and let's see what you get off of that. And so what are you looking for here? A Golisopod?
That would be great. I think that might be what I'm going for. The other thing I need out is another Zoroark. I wish I couldn't. The problem with Solgaleo being so strong is that I need both Lorantis out to like bop the darn thing.
Right.
So I have to over prioritize Loranes or Zoroark. In this deck, you need to prioritize Zoroark to get your cards you need. So it's a little bit of a weird setup for this one, but it is what it is. We at least got one Zoroark out who's able to do some damage in the front line, and then hopefully we're gonna start setting up Golisopod in the back. It looks like we're going to end here.
Yeah, you're going to play the end. But one thing I love, I personally love Zoroark even as an attacker. I mean, obviously in Expanded, it's crazy good. But even in Standard, I feel like Zoroark is still a really good attacker. Doing, up to 150 with a choice band is crazy for just a DCE, really.
How about that GX attack?
Yeah, oh my gosh. And that's one thing I've not got to utilize at all is that GX attack, which maybe a Dark Box deck or something like that would be cool.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
So you do in there. I didn't see what I got off there, but I'm hoping I got the rare candy and Solgaleo, because if I don't at this point, I could be in trouble. You put more damage on the Lele, and yeah, here now I'm in a hurry mode, and there it is.
There's the Solgaleo.
Finally.
Yeah,
finally
it's
on the
a
board.
huge occasion when that comes up, because now that you're basically about ready to explode on all your energy attachments. So.
And I put that choice band on the Zoroark because I don't really need a choice band on Solgaleo. It is one-shotting everything you got on your side, so really kind of a pointless card in this deck other than putting it on Zoroark. So we do Cynthia here. Now, if I could get a second Solgaleo out now I'm in good shape.
Now, what's interesting, because you do 230, right? 230 with
230.
So a Golisopod armor press, you one-shot it clean. And I think that's insane about this matchup.
So it does look like I got an Ultra Ball there and another rare candy, so I could go for that second Solgaleo here, which may be the play, because one of the key things here is when I Soul Burst, I really don't want to Soul Burst onto a Cosmog down there, because you can just Guzma that thing up and there it goes. It goes bye-bye. But as you can see here, since I do have that Ultra Ball, I am getting rid of some things and hopefully get that second Solgaleo on the board.
What is nice about Soul Burst is that you can grab also DCE, so you're able to set up Zoroark, you can set up a Lele if necessary, and that Prism Star is also a really great target. Yeah,
I think Solgaleo as a whole, the card's just super good. It can one-shot a lot of things. The Ultra Road ability is ridiculous because you can bring anything to the active and out of the active, and that Soul Burst GX, like you said there, can grab the DCEs, which is cool right now as well.
Now it looks like we're going to see a second.
There we go.
So that's two this turn.
Yeah, that's two this
turn. That's a good turn.
Real good turn, and we get another energy down there. So we will Soul Burst here. I would have liked to have seen a Max Potion there to get that damage off that Lele. But
now you are utilizing the ability on Solgaleo, Ultra Road, which allows you to move any Pokemon to the active. It's a great ability. I don't think we've seen many Pokemon that can just do that.
That's very, very good. One thing I did notice here is I only had 2 Metal Energies left in deck. So that could spell trouble. But with the DCEs, that definitely helps, and I get a couple of those down as well. And I may throw this DCE on that Lele just for the heck of it. Yeah, and I do. So there we go, Andrew. We got a really good turn there. Let's see how you can come back from that.
Yeah, so my only hope is that I can pretend Solgaleo doesn't exist for a minute and maybe take a knockout on, like, hopefully Lele.
So there's the DCE down on the Golisopod, and you will attack for 120. Now, what this does is it puts me in an odd position, right?
Yeah.
Actually, you do 150, excuse me, with that choice band. It puts me in a weird position here because now I know next turn that Solgaleo is going to probably die, right? But I can still take a one-shot here, so it's a weird trade-off.
Kind of have to weigh your odds here and what you would rather not lose, you know?
And a huge thing in this deck as well is the Solgaleo Prism, and once that hits the board, we'll talk more about that card in specific. But so yeah, I'm eyeing here. Let's see. I'm thinking I really want to knock out this Zoroark, but that one of the Actum has so much damage on it. I may bring the one up on the bench there to the active, hoping you don't have a Guzma.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think I've played too many of my Guzmas yet, but you are knocking out my only Zoroark that's out, so you are cutting off my one line to draw.
Exactly.
Unless I get another one out, which I'm hoping that's the case, but...
So here's another play here. So I do decide just to go ahead and use the attack, knock out that Zoroark, hoping that you can't respond here with the knockout. And look at that.
Oh,
the grass energy. Right
that puts me in a weird spot, because I was hoping to use the crossing cut on the bench Zoroark, because that's my only hope of one-shotting, but I also can't let you knock out my Golisopod. It's my only attacker. So I'm hoping I can find something else that maybe can take the knockout.
Yeah, which again, the Solgaleo adds pressure to you, because now you see I have a full Solgaleo on the bench with no damage on it, and it can one-shot you. So
yeah, and you have 4 prizes left. So if you take a knockout on this, you can hopefully just Guzma up, maybe Lele or something, maybe 2-shot it with a Zoroark. You have a lot of outs here. I'm running a little bit thin. Like I said, even with armor press, you're still going to one-shot the Golisopod.
Yeah, this was it's an interesting matchup for sure. For you though, here, if you take a knockout here, you do have all that extra damage on that Lele on the board, so you can take 4 quick prizes. Honestly, it's gonna be a matter of how do you react later on in 2 or 3 turns.
Yeah, I think my hope here is I'm gonna probably crossing cut just because I want to keep the Golisopod alive.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
If I had another Wimpod out, I might not have done that, but it's kind of you're in a rough spot. You have to do something. So.
Exactly. So I bring the Lele into the active, which tells me I may have a Guzma in hand, and there's the Ultra Ball there. More than likely looking for that Solgaleo Prism. That card is so good. So good.
It really helps his late game, because you can just attach all that metal energy. Your opponent's probably got their bench filled by that point.
Well, and you can't tell me the Pokemon didn't have in their mind of the Solgaleos working together, because you're discarding the energy, and with Solgaleo Prism, you're bringing it back. It's just perfect sync, really.
Yeah, it even works well with that new Dustmane across one we've been seeing.
Yes.
That has the similar attack, discarding 3 energies, and again, Solgaleo it, bringing it back. It's great synergy.
I would love to see how Lunala Prism comes into play, because it does the same thing, only with Psychic. So there's the Guzma there, bringing up that Golisopod, and I was able to pull this off to get rid of that Golisopod here with, there we go.
Here's the scary thing. It's the thing that I've seen this deck do a million times while we've been playtesting, is that next turn, all you have to do is really go in with Solgaleo Prism Star, set up set up your Solgaleo, and then basically just knock out anything next turn.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's one thing I love about this deck, and why I feel like it's pretty good. But again, like a lot of the meta decks right now, it really comes down to setup, other than Buzzwole, of course. But
yeah, Buzzwole definitely doesn't mind whatever you're doing. He's just gonna presume with jet punches until everything's gone.
It just does what it does.
Yeah.
So you play, it looks like a Bridget here to grab. I would assume a Wimpod and another Zorua. Yeah, and there you go.
Yeah, so I know you can't knock anything out next turn. Presumably, we're taking 2 prizes, so I can't lose next turn. But I need to get Golisopod on board. Like, I need to get energy on Golisopod. I need to start knocking out something else.
Yeah, and in certain cases with that Zoroark on the bench, one thing I like is if I had a Guzman and had 1 prize card left, for instance, I can just bring up something easy and knock it out. But in this situation, it's not going to happen, and you luckily are getting a lot of damage there on that Solgaleo.
Yeah, like I said, this is the hardest thing about late game. So if you find a metal energy, you pretty much can just Ultra Road in, set up the Solgaleo, and then I have to respond with a Guzma.
Yeah.
But then, like, you can set up anything else in the meantime, and hopefully finish out those prizes.
Which I believe I did misplay at one point here because I realized I didn't have an energy card to put on Solgaleo Prism, which is a pretty big mistake here because obviously I need one. So
how many metal energy does the deck run?
We are running 9 currently.
9, that's a fair amount, yeah. So you'd expect to find some, but
you would hope so, yeah. Of course, earlier on in the game, if you remember, all my energies were already either in the discard or out on the field. So we'll see how we get through this, but it looks like I was going to grab a Lily, and I do, and I think I'll Cynthia here possibly. Yes, I will. And as you can see, I have 1 single metal energy left in deck.
Oh, wow. But your deck's pretty thinned out, so your odds are decent at best to draw into it, which is great. It's what you would expect to see. It's what you're hoping.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, but you're running pretty thin. Getting really close.
Welcome to Zoroark, right?
Exactly. All those trades.
So we'll grab 6 cards here, and I believe maybe a single card or 2, so it could come down to the last play here. And there's the energy on the Solgaleo Prism, and again, Ultra Road will come in play here, as I will Ultra Road it out of the active and bring up the Prism. And I'm crossing my fingers here, Andrew, that you won't be able to knock out that Solgaleo on the bench.
Yeah, well, the other thing that's unfortunate is that I don't have a way to retreat. So I'd have to Guzma and retreat, but I don't have Floatstone out. I don't have Golisopod with energy out. It's seeming a little bit bleak for me to take the knockout, but we'll see. I have only 1 Zoroark out, so we need to draw really well.
And something I forgot to mention as well, Solgaleo Prism actually isn't a bad attacker either. It does 160 with a choice band 190, so really good there, and you can attach the energy off of the first attack there as well.
Yeah, it looks like I'm scheming. I'm trying to think of what stuff I can do. So I get the foul play out. I'm hoping I can take a knockout with foul play and offset your prizes. Because you are at 2, so I'm like, okay, well, this guy can at least hopefully do something if I draw into DCE.
And foul play's still so good because you're hitting, 3, 6, 9, 12, 150.
With Mind Jack, yeah.
Yeah, and then 160, I guess, plus the 10 on the card.
Yeah.
So you're taking a perfect knockout there and getting rid of that Solgaleo Prism.
Yeah. So my thought process is, okay, if I can find DCE here, I can take the knockout with Mind Jack, and then hopefully, if you have to knock out with Solgaleo, then okay, then I can go ahead and finish out the game next turn.
All right, so I need a Guzma this next turn. So there is the attack there, knock out that Prism, and I bring up the Zoroark, and there's the Guzma. So
that was close.
And
that was really close.
Sunsteel Strike right there to knock out the Golisopod. What a great game, though.
Yeah, I think it's refreshing to see new Zoroark decks.
For sure.
But I think the Solgaleo is actually a really interesting pairing that I hopefully we see more of. I think it makes sense to me.
Definitely. I want to keep play testing it, really enjoying the deck. And Andrew, thanks for stopping back by and doing this with me.
Well, yeah, it's been great to be back. I'm hoping for more great games.
Yeah, and for those of you watching the video, we will continue to put these out as we move forward. And we're going to continue to update the page a little bit more. We are streaming a little bit as well on there. Not a lot, but we are doing a little bit. So, yeah, we got some expanded matches coming up too.
Yep, so be on the lookout. Let us know in the comments what kind of decks you guys want to see.
Yeah, if there's any standard or expanded deck you want to see, let us know. We will record them and pop them up for you.
All right, sounds great.
All right, Andrew, have a great day. We'll see you next time around.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
And thank you for watching Jaw7 TV. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.